Hey guys, welcome back to Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. You might see a couple of new things behind me, or off to my side as well. Here's my super cool new tool block. It's roughly 100 tools here, every single one of them labeled, and every single hole labeled as to what tool goes where. Because man, oh man, I just got so tired. Okay, which one's that Phillips that I like so much, and all this. So I just decided to go hog wild and spend a few days. The rows are color coded. For instance, the Phillips screwdrivers are blue, so that row is painted blue. Just makes it so much easier. And you guys might know by now that I'm like the obsessive mad scientist type. So you never know. I just might even have a camera on this thing so that I can just look straight ahead at the monitor and not look up from my work as I'm reaching for a tool. But that's for later. Right behind me here, you might think that that is a sandblasting cabinet, and well, okay, it is, but that's not what it's being used for. This is going to be a containment cabinet. Uh, every single conversion job requires some drilling. Every time I replace a motor in an 8-track player, which is quite often, it requires some drilling. There's always some grinding, some cutting needs to be done, hammering. You just never know what you're going to run into when it comes to 8-tracks with kind of sometimes machining operations. But at any rate, I just really get tired of every single job I finish. I got all these metal shavings all over the place from drilling, and needless to say, it's not a good thing if it should get inside a customer's unit. So now I've also converted the entire shop to air tools. I still use an electric drill from time to time. I still have it right here within handy reach. I still have my heat gun for my heat shrink tubing right within handy reach. But pretty much everything else is going to be air, and that's another thing behind the cabinet is air tools are actually quite a bit louder, of course, and so this also helps to keep the noise contained, and it keeps shavings from flying all over the place and just metal filing bits and all that stuff. So, okay, enough of that crap. Now, what we're going to do here is this is a unit sent in by Jay, customer named Jay, and he's kind of requested the all bells and whistles package and anything that I can possibly offer to go ahead and do it. And this is the first unit on which I've really expressed a lot of interest in recording, and there's a reason for that. Now I normally don't. It's in my terms and conditions that I don't troubleshoot recording issues because it's generally easier just to buy another unit because if the unit will play properly, it's extremely rare for it not to record properly as well. So there's never been too much point in messing with the recording, and naturally you can't rewind an 8-track tape, so it makes it a very time-consuming process to record, check it, and all that. But anyway, there is a recent, a very important reason that I need to start doing some 8-track recording, and that is because of what you're watching right now, YouTube. I can't really play other people's material without fearing copyright issues. There have been times that they've allowed the video to go through, but they've shut down the audio, which really makes a lot of sense, guys. But at any rate, I know some music that I've gotten away with that they don't really seem to key on it very much, and that's the Temptations here. So, and you guys have been watching my videos. You know that I've used the Temptations tape for more than 200 videos. It finally bit the dust, and the reason it bit the dust is because I ruined it by not practicing what I preach. Yes, I allowed the tape to play upside down while I was working on a unit. It almost immediately jammed up, and I mean, an 8-track hobbyist would probably say, sure, I can re-spool it under a cartridge, even take the time to untangle everything, but I just, I'm forced to just move on to the next good tape. So anyway, I just went ahead and bought a brand new Temptations tape, never been used. Naturally, it was made probably in the 60s or 70s, but it was sealed, never been played. I can tell by the condition of the tape, it's completely virgin. I still have to queue it up to replace the foil splice, but this I needed basically a tape that has no wear to compare my recordings to, and so I've also got this little Donna Summer tape that it's a good sounding tape, and it's in new enough condition and has no visible play on it as well. So I thought that would be a good tape also to use as a comparison model. And then I've got some Anne Murray. They've let me get away with a little bit of Anne Murray. And then on this tape, we've got a couple of my songs. You guys might know that I am a published songwriter, actually with 5 awards from Billboard, from the Worldwide Billboard Song Contest when it was still active. They shut it down about 3-4 years ago. It's probably not making a profit for them, but at any rate, so I've got I've got a way around the copyright issues because I am actually the copyright owner for quite a few songs. So I was hoping to try to start using my songs as demonstration material and never have to worry about the copyright police again. So that's what this video is all about, and I'm using Jay's recorder as the model that I'm basically just as the demonstration model. And it turns out that Jay is quite knowledgeable with recordings, the recording process, the different properties of different types of tapes, and all that. So I thought I would share this with him. So, but this is naturally for anyone's viewing pleasure, but especially for Jay, so we can see how the recording is coming along. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get started here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play some Temptations. We're just going to go ahead and play short. The Temptations I could probably let play for a while. Anne Murray and Donna Summer especially, very short duration so that they don't lock onto it and say, aha, we recognize that song and that's a copyrighted song and we're taking it off. And then we'll play my music and naturally we can listen all day to that one. But mainly we want to compare the recording quality and make sure that my recordings are sounding good enough to use as demonstration videos and promotional. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm done blabbing. Let's go ahead and pop some temps in here, and we'll just go ahead and look at the unit here. We don't need the meters or anything because this is pretty much just our ears that we're working with on this. So here we go, Temptations. Now I know that the deck is running just a little bit fast. That's one I have not messed with that yet. Right now we're just concerned with sound quality. Okay, we're about to switch tracks, and we just actually came to the end of program stop. So let's go ahead and let the next song start. And we're just getting used to what the tapes sound like. What a commercially recorded tape, a brand new commercially recorded tape sounds like. Okay, so what I'm hearing is not a tremendous amount of extreme high-end response. Got a little bit of a fuzzy peak around the 300 to 400 hertz range, sounds like. There's not a lot of subsonic noise overpowering everything, that's good. Just a touch of distortion on the S's there. Okay, switch and the Temptations recordings tended to be just a little on the fuzzy side anyway. The Motown studio was a very live environment, hardwood floors, no drapes on the walls, nice reverb. Now we see that this song is not as bright sounding as the others, and that's not too unusual for tracks 1 and 4 because they're at the edge of the tape, and misalignment is not hard to be done. Okay, so get kind of used to just the general sound quality of that. It's got enough treble, not an overabundance of it. I would like to hear just a little bit more treble out of it. A little bit of a fuzziness, a little bit of a fuzzy presence in the 300 to 400 hertz range, maybe even down to about 200. But the bass rumble's pretty nice. Not a whole lot of noise that I could sell. So let's go ahead and pop some Donna Summer in here very quickly, just to get an idea what this sounds like. Another commercial recording. Okay, this is the punchiest song, so we'll just let this one play for a moment. Okay, and again, lacks a little bit of brightness. A little bit of fuzziness in the low hundreds hertz range. Try a little bit of Anne Murray. Just get used to that. Now this tape's a little brighter. This has a real nice shimmering presence around the, I'd say around the 6 to 8K range. And it doesn't have a whole lot of high mids to mud that up. It sounds actually pretty decent. So I consider this the best sounding tape of these three so far. Even though the Temps is the newest tape, this is probably a later recording. They had more mature production techniques, different trends affecting listeners' tastes. Yeah, this is nice, fairly punchy, upbeat tune. Okay, so again, I consider this the best sounding of the three commercially recorded tapes. Okay, now to get to my tape, we gotta go to program 2. Okay, now let's go ahead and pop my music in here. This is my recording of my material. People in the middle ain't no answer to the riddle. All we wanna do is chill. The nuts upstairs gotta keep their dares, and it don't mean a thing to kill. But why should people die? This ain't their battle cry. Okay, now another quick comparison. Just compare this with some kind of punchy. Compare it with some Donna Summer. Okay, notice that my recording is actually much brighter than the Donna Summer. Okay, I'm still hitting the tape a little bit too hard with my own material. We are distorting on some of the transient peaks. I'm still hitting that tape a little bit too hard, but on the whole, it's appearing to me that I can make a recording sound pretty much just as good as a commercial recording. So let's go ahead and listen to some more. Well, we haven't tried my my other song yet, so go ahead and pop this in. And now the most of the brightness in my songs is in the vocal track, and that'll be coming back up in a moment here. I realize I can't criticize, I gotta let you live the life you choose. And if I gotta be a different kind of person than the man you fell in love with, what's the use? So don't try to screw me just because you get to it, baby, won't you strip me some. Okay, back to what I thought was the brighter of the commercial recordings. And I find, ooh yeah, when love comes tumbling down, you send me, and you don't live in a beautiful place, and you don't cry in the best of days. Okay, yeah, this tape doesn't really have a whole lot of information up in this, in the maybe the 6 to 8K range. Not as much as my tape does, and this doesn't also seem to have a whole lot of punch. We'll try Temps again, just as a quick comparison. Okay, plenty of presence, plenty of high mid-range presence. There's enough brightness, not an overabundance of it, but enough brightness. Day in, day out, my tear-stained face pressed against the window pane. My eyes search the skies. Okay, we're distorting just a touch on the S's on the vocals, so we will allow myself just a touch of amnesty from criticism on if my S is distorted also, because I'm doing this pretty much the same thing as the tape is, commercial tape. Okay, this is a other, there we go. Okay, so except for some overload, it's appearing that my music is sounding pretty much just as good as the commercial tapes, and my tape has not been professionally mastered. I mastered it pretty much just by ear, using nothing close to the professional mastering gear. But it seems to have come out good enough to where I can nurse the mix of each song, so it'll sound good on 8-track. Now let's go back. Let's go to another song that I've got on this tape. Now this is mostly orchestra music and distorted electric guitar, so there's not a whole lot of brightness to it. Almost all the brightness is going to be in the vocals on this song. The arrangement is pretty busy. Okay, this song will start up again, and we'll just go ahead and listen to the entire song since I can get away with it. It's my own copyright, so no problem. Okay, so my overall assessment upon one hearing is I've got my levels still a little bit too high. I'm still hitting the tape a little bit too hard. I can back that off, which hopefully won't change the overall tonal characteristics so much that I have to drag out an EQ or anything. And I am detecting that little bit of fuzzy cloudiness at around 200, somewhere between about 200 and 400 hertz. There's a little bit of an overpresence there. It's the same overpresence I'm hearing on most of the tapes. I could run it through an EQ and dip out that low mid a little bit, open it up, open the music up quite a bit more. I think. But the thing is, do I want to run this thing through an additional 62 bands of EQ just to add, just to back off on the mids a little bit? I don't really think I want to subject the music to that much more processing just to cure that minor problem. I think it's probably end up going to sound a little bit better to the listener, just the way it is compared to the rest of the tape. So I think I'm just going to back off my levels just a touch, and I'll experiment with doing that at the source and at the tape deck. Uh, and that's basically the straight dope on there. It looks like I'm going to be able to produce good enough recordings to use as a promotional and demo material. And that also means that I don't have to get rid of some $150 worth of blank tapes that I bought some time back. So that being stated, and it's kind of a celebratory night because I've been messing with this problem for a little while in the middle of changing all the stuff around the shop and building my little tool rack and getting the quiet box and whatever the thing is called back there in place. So I'm gonna get on out of here. You can reach me at 928-533-9666 if you would like to have your 8-track repaired. Thank you very much for watching and listening. My website is in the description below. We'll see you next time.